I want to share something with you this morning. As I was reading the word, it just stood out to me. Lord, I pray that you give me wisdom to explain this and let the person that's listening understand it the way that you help me to understand it. So it's from the book of John, chapter 1, and I'm going to start with verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Verse 3. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. So it's time to pull your pen and paper and make these notes. All things were made by him. By him. And without him was not anything made that was made. Make this note. In him was life. And very important here, the life was the light of men. Verse 5. And the light shineth in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. I'm going to skip to verse 9. That was the true light, which lighted every man that cometh into the world. That was the true light. He was in the world, and the world was made by him. The world knew him not. But make note of this. Verse 12. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name. Verse 14. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt amongst us. Make note of that. This is what I understand from reading this. If you want to know Jesus, and I know many of us have that question, who is Jesus? We may have grew up in the church, and we're still struggling to know Jesus. How do you know a person you cannot see? You feel kind of silly to ask the question, but it's a big question. So we go from wanting to know him to giving up on knowing him, trying again and doubting and not believing and not knowing what the heck to do to know this Jesus. Well, here's your answer. Read his word. The book of John is telling us this morning that Jesus is the word. So that is that rhema, that thing that stood out to me this morning. So we have a lot of names that we call Jesus. Beautiful names. I'm here to give you one more name this morning, and it's right there. Always been there. He's the Word. So Jesus equals the Word. You want to know Jesus, you want to know the Word. Some of us, I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but back in our heydays back home, and we were in the British curriculum for school, you had to study so hard for exams because it's cumulative. If you were in grade 6, you better remember everything from grade 1 all the way to 6. You just never know what question is going to be asked. You could study for grade 6, and the question comes from something you learned in grade 2. Anyways, if anybody can relate, I know you got it. And so you study. This is a joke. You study everything there is to know about a plant. Let's say an eggplant. And you can tell the botanical name, the growth cycle of the eggplant, what its uses are, the vitamins it has. And then you show up at the exam, and then the question for you is, what is a tomato? So if you want to know Jesus, read the word. If you don't know a person, you cannot know a person. Amen.